Welcome to episode 3 of the Kilted Kickoff with me, Dan, and my co-host Murray. How are you doing, mate?
You know exactly how I'm doing. Let's
Yeah,
not
this
let's
might
let's
be a
not
bit of
let's not pretend. We were at Murrayfield yesterday. We had fun. We actually had like as a social day out, a lot of
yeah,
fun. And yeah, got to watch a good game at the on the big screen. Had a lot to drink, and
yeah.
then it kind of went pear shaped. But that's what we're here to talk about today. Anyway, how are you getting on apart from all that?
Oh, I'm okay. Spoilers, this might be a different tone to our usual podcast.
Might be very
Don't want to
somber,
come
yes.
across as sour or anything, but look, we went to the game. I think in the rugby world, some of the decisions have been seen as controversial, to say the least. So we all met up, we had a good day out, we went to the rugby, and after the game, I thought I had a couple of beers. The energy's high. I'm probably being a little bit biased, so I decided to, I didn't put anything on TikTok. I never said anything.
I
And
did.
then I got up this morning and I rewatched the match on Discovery Plus,
Mm.
and it was so much worse than what I recall live.
Yeah, you phoned me like this episode's gonna be insane. I was
Yeah,
like, okay, and then you told me everything that happened. We're gonna go into it now, but yeah.
yeah. In
So
the stadium, it was bad, but seeing all what the commentators were saying and watching
mm,
everything, on repeat, it was yeah. There was
all
much more.
all I'm gonna say is for the viewers, if you've known us for long enough that I'm the optimism one, he's the pessimistic one. Not very optimistic talking about this game, but it's fine. I'll be a sour grape. It's all good.
So look, before I jump into it, actually, just so it doesn't start out like, oh, I'm moaning or I'm blaming the ref or what, anything like that. I do think South Africa are a better team than us, right? I do want to say that South Africa, player for player, I think are a stronger team than Scotland, but I didn't feel like we got to compete with them on the same footing yesterday. Every bit of momentum was taken away from us. Uh, every decision went our way in the moments that they went against us as well. It just seemed to be every single time that we start to build momentum. I really, really hate to criticize refs. It's something that I try to stay away, but
Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
the same
he
with
had
you.
an absolute mare. I'm not sure if he's ever done an international test before, but he seemed out of his depth.
I think he
Maybe he
has.
just had a bad day. I don't know, but it was a really bad day.
It wasn't the most fun day. And thing is, right, and I'm not like trying to like blow our own trumpets here or anything. Like me and you are quite on the ball when it comes to rugby. Like we know what we're talking about. We're not just saying stuff like we're not just waffling. We're not just saying the stuff that falls off the top of our head. Like we actually do kind of know what we're talking about to an extent.
Yeah.
See, and we're going to get into it because obviously that's what we're here for. The whole 20-minute red card Scott Cummings sent off fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
I watched, obviously, me and you in the stadium. I'm watching it on the big screen, and I'm looking like, what am I looking at? Like, what are we looking for? Because
Yeah.
the first clip, I was like, was it a shoulder to the head? Like, a drive into the ruck,
Yeah,
which
that's initially
happens
what
quite
I
often.
thought it was.
Didn't happen, and then I've seen it again, and I'm like, okay. Then they done the reverse angle, and I'm like, I haven't a clue what I'm looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to every Scotland home game for the last 14 years. And this one through, I'm looking at it, and there was a passionate South African behind me, I mean, head to toe in green and gold. And this
Mm-hmm.
boy didn't have a clue what we were looking at either.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah. People saying it's a croc roll. That definitely was not a croc roll.
No, that he was driven completely backwards.
Apparently, it wasn't on Exhibit, it was on Mostert.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like I missed something there because I was convinced it was on Exhibit. That's why he mentioned it so much. And then I realised that he was captain as well. So, but yeah, it was just there was a theme for this game when it came to TMO checks. I mean, you discussed it earlier.
South Africa could have had should have arguably had 3, maybe even 4 yellow cards in that game. 2 of their tries that shouldn't have counted. You can make an argument that Scotland should have had a penalty try later on in the game. Their try that was ruled off by the letter of the law, and we'll get into it and credit the guy that's due it as well, shouldn't have been ruled off. So, yeah, and up until the very end, it was only a 4-point game. So
there was nothing in it. Yeah, we were proper going for it for
flatter South Africa.
60. Even well, actually, just to point that out, even Esmith did say that after the game. He did say that scoreline flattered them. So even they know that wasn't pretty.
I mean, also, on the bright side, I'll finish on an optimistic note. I have taken some positives out of that game, but I'm going to leave that until the very end to get on a high note. So anyone that's listening now, if you stick through the doom and gloom and the moaning and the bitching,
promise it's worth it.
Yeah, I'll end on a couple of positives that I'll take from the game. So just before we go any further, Murray, we didn't actually discuss this, in our little pre-production bit.
No.
Are we going to allow swearing tonight, or are we going to keep it?
If it comes naturally, go for it. If you're doing it to be different, then no.
No, right, okay. So we'll say this cautiously, probably rated R for tonight. There's a little box I need to tick when I upload it, depending on if we're going to swear or not.
Yeah, I've just realised I'm going to have to do the same. Like, does this contain explicit content? It does, potentially.
We'll try to keep it to a minimum. We'll try to keep it to a minimum, but if it comes out, right? Okay, let's fly through the match. Now, I've got a little booklet right here, and some of it we're going to have to do from memory because I rewatched the match this morning with notes, took loads of notes, and then after about 66 minutes, ended up throwing the notebook across the living room and storming out. I was like, I can't believe sober this is worse.
Okay, right. That's never a good sign, by the way.
Sorry?
That's never a good sign, but hey-ho.
No. So, look, as you'd expect, the South Africans were on top at the beginning. I thought Scotland defensively were quite good. On the 5th minute, Mapimpi scored his first try. And there's 2 things here. I know you criticised Kinghorn for it, and I think it was Jordan's place to mark. But first of all, with Tom Jordan, he's a fantastic player. He's a great player.
Yeah,
but it had a bit of the BK10 experiment feel about it. 15 isn't his natural position.
It's not, no.
No.
It does come in handy. It comes in handy that they can cover it, but
yeah.
I said this to you.
At 10, it's handy if you've got an injury crisis or if he needs to slot in if a man's
absolutely,
but you don't want him to start there the entire time.
No. I think I said that to you.
Too critical on him.
So
yeah, I don't want to be too critical on him either. But when he did get a shot in on Mapimpi, and it forced him into touch. So he went over, his hand went into touch before the ball hit the ground. I didn't notice it live. I thought it was a great try, but when I watched it back and I saw all the pictures of it going around on social media, I was amazed that it wasn't checked. It wasn't like one of these little things where, it was his baby finger. I mean, it was his hand up to about his elbow almost that was out into touch. Yeah, so, it was a fair bet.
It wasn't like the Jeremy Williams try and thinking like, isn't it? It wasn't one of them. Like, it was a flat out, your hands not in the field. Mm-hmm. You're not in play. But you kind of touched on it a little bit there. I wasn't sure if it was Kinghorn or Tom Jordan to mark him. I've always done the whole grassroots thing, like mark your opposite number. So in my head, Kinghorn should have been marking Mapimpi just off that.
Yeah.
So when I see
it is a general rule of thumb like that.
Yeah. So when I seen the ball coming across, and it did happen twice, like regardless of that ball, if his hand was in touch or not, it happened twice that game, and there was no one there watching him. I'm like, where's the defense on that?
It was really narrow. Yeah, just really annoying, really. So they got the try. They missed the conversion. You 5-0 at this stage, and it was a try that shouldn't have counted. Right gut punch. 5 minutes later, so we're 10 minutes into the game now, and Scotland get a penalty. Goes to take it, and you're like, okay, cool. We're looking 5-3. Cancelled out most of the points that they've just got from the try. Etzebeth walks over to the referee and says, I want you to check something. Now, the referee should be saying in this situation, if there was something to be seen, the TMO will check it. You can't just demand that a referee goes back and checks something. But the thing is, this was 3 or 4 phases back. Now, if you want to check something like this, you're all, to my understanding of the rule, I think someone clarified this for you later on, that you're only allowed to go back 2 phases of play.
I'm pretty sure that might just be for try scoring opportunity. I don't know if this is just for general though, so I might be a bit confused on that. But isn't there a thing called a captain's challenge as well that they are allowed? I don't know if it's instigated in the internationals yet, but I know Super Rugby were trialing it that you get one shot.
I don't think it's one of the rules that have been introduced.
It's not
yet.
International yet, right?
No, not international, because they announced a load, but this one wasn't in it. So Etzebeth tells him to go and look at something. He says it's a croc roll. Go back, this one we were talking about a minute ago. They show it on the big screen. Now you've got was the tackle on Etzebeth himself, or if it was on someone else? I can't remember.
So I've had this comment a few times today. Apparently, it wasn't on Etzebeth; it was on Mostert, and apparently it was the way, so Cummins essentially landed on the lower leg of Mostert, and I'm like, okay, but are we just ignoring that Jaden Hendricks is underneath the ruck and kind of? I know that looks horrible on camera, but jolted his shoulder up, so Scott Cummins kind of tilted a little bit.
Yeah, so you've got Rory Darge.
Yeah, Rory Darge was actually the one that looked like he did something.
Yeah, but I don't think either of them did anything. So a croc
roll. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to ping someone, at least ping the right guy. Because even looking at I didn't agree with any of it, but I thought if you're going to send someone off, it would have been Rory Darge, not Scott Cummins. Because you all seen it. Scott Cummins is standing there like, me, and they're like, the referee, yeah, on you go.
Yeah. So I mean, they both got him. Rory Darge and Cummins got him, and they drove him backwards. Now the scrum half does come up from the bottom of the ruck, and he comes in from the underside of Cummins while he's halfway through making a tackle. So it does push him off his feet slightly and move him to the side. So you would think, even if you did think it was a croc roll, which I didn't think it was at all, and I don't think many other people thought it was, even non-South Africans and non-Scots, sorry, that there was a huge amount of mitigating circumstances in there. So it was utterly bizarre. Again, look.
I was going to say, I think the bit that alarmed people is when, obviously, in a couple of minutes' time, when Christoph Ridley, the referee, was like, right, captains, come here. We've got an update. And it's a red card. You could almost see it in Sione's face, like, really? Really? It's a red. Right, okay. And obviously, you just have to go, right, okay, that's your decision. But you could see it in Sione's face. And then there was something you told me earlier about an incident that I'm sure we're going to get into that involves Sione talking to the referee, like even Etzebeth did.
Yeah.
And it got done. It got taken totally differently.
Yeah, totally differently. But yeah. So Scotland's penalty basically gets ruled off. They don't get to take it, and you go in. We get to the 16-minute mark. Scotland get a penalty for South Africa blocking the runner. We take the penalty, and then immediately after, they take the penalty, comes up and goes, right, been upgraded to a red. So it felt like it was at the first moment where our momentum got stuffed out once, and the second time that, right, we had some momentum behind us, was like wind out of the sails straight away. We got another penalty 21 minutes later. Not 21 minutes in, not releasing, 6-5. 23 minutes in, Ashman puts Evan Etzebeth on his ass, which was
hell of an
Probably
effort.
of the game for me.
That
Um,
was such a good drive, though. You see, if you
Yeah.
go back and look at the clip, the leg drive on Ashman, unreal. But yeah, continue.
So, 27th minute, they were under pressure. Finn Russell goes under a lot of pressure, and this was one of the benefits of having Kinghorn on the wing. I will say overall, I think the negatives outweighed the positives, but there were positives to having Kinghorn on the wing. The King Russell was able to release some pressure, and with a boot, he was able to send it way down the pitch. Now, a minute later, the South Africa come back on, and there's a clear shot to the head on Jack Dempsey, and he just goes down.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it's not, and it's not looked at either. So, where I was sat, I never saw it live, but going back on the TV, it wasn't even subtle. It was just bang. That wasn't done then. And that was in the build-up to South Africa's next attack. Thomas Tutoy scores very shortly after. Now, it was a knock-on from the line-out. The referee decided that it went backwards, but like if there is any doubt, you think something like that would have checked.
Yeah, didn't even check it. Just, it went backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. To be fair, right, and I'm not trying to sound optimistic or that. At least he backed himself. Do you know what I mean? At least the referee went, no, I don't need another opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's not great, but do you get what I mean? Like he's came out with like, that's my decision. My decision's final. Move on with your life, essentially, which isn't great, but
well, not that I want to compare it to football, but you know how in football they've got VAR, and every single goal in in football gets checked by the VAR team whether they suspected something or not. There's basically a standard check that they do. Now they don't have to intervene on the ref line, but you'd hope. There should be a standard just TMO check just to make sure no one's offside, there was no knock-ons, anything like that, and if there was, the TMO can intervene. But in that case, didn't. There's a couple other moments. So 31st minute, Scotland starts building another bit of momentum again. We get a penalty for South Africa not rolling away. So we've just got the penalty, and immediately after the restart, Scotland are back up to 15 men. The 20-minute red card is done. Now, on the very first play, the ref penalised Scotland. Now, so that was the third time in the match that Scotland started to build momentum, and momentum gone immediately. It was the first tackle. Scotland go to use the ball. Ben White gets it out, and the referee said he didn't use it quick enough. Now, I went back and I counted it. It was the second it went to the 5th second, he called it, but he was inconsistent with it. There was times in the game where South Africa were taking 8-9 seconds to use it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long. Scotland got to 5.
Yeah. I want this to be regular. I think me and you agreed on this earlier. Yeah. And I don't like comparing refs. I don't even like slagging off refs, but the England-Australia game, Ben O'Keefe shouts, use it, and you can quite clearly hear him shout 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
And so I think if you're going to do it, it makes it consistent, and everybody knows where he is. It eliminates any doubt, any error. Both the player and the referee and the opponent know whereabouts in the process it is. But if you're like 3, 2, 1, and if by 1 you've not kicked it, fine, fair enough. It was outlined for you and everybody else to hear. But don't
just shout use it and then just have like a thought to yourself and be like, you took too long.
Yeah. So even in that case, you have to wait till after 5 seconds pass. It needs to go to 6-7 seconds. But look, whatever way you look at it, that one was harsh, right? Like you could probably argue that, it could or should have been a penalty. So South Africa get the scrum off of it, and they score. Now, there's nothing wrong with this South African score. It's completely legit. The only problem is they shouldn't have had in the first place. But the play itself, it was good work try, and then it's 19-9 to South Africa, and you're thinking, right, they're running away from it now. So Scotland tried to attack it after the kickoff, and the referee immediately gives a penalty to South Africa. Like, captures the ball, first tackle. It's given against Scotland for not rolling away, but I think it was Rory Darge. I'll have to double it. I can't remember who it was, but it was literally the second his body touched the floor, he blew the whistle for not blowing away.
Yeah, give the man a chance to try and move himself.
Yeah, I mean, his full weight probably hadn't even hit the floor yet, so he hadn't had a chance to roll away, but that was it. In 39 minutes, they kick the ball back to us. We do a fantastic break, great move. We go down the pitch and we score.
Yes.
Now, in that build up to it, there is a moment where Hugh Jones goes down. He puts the ball down. It appears like he puts the ball flat down. The ball stays still, but he travels forward. It's not picked up by anybody at the time, and then it goes 3 phases. It's 3 or 4 phases after that. Ben White goes through, dots it down, and you're thinking, right, we've had a couple of decisions go against us, but going into half time, we've pulled ourselves right back into this. Successful conversion, and before the restart, TMO comes in, and the referee takes all of 5 seconds looking at the decision, and goes, don't knock on. And the most frustrating thing about this, and this is where we'll credit your friend, that I said to you on the phone that I thought you couldn't go back further than 2 phases. Now, what was the name?
I think it was a very generic name. I got tagged in the video itself, so I don't actually know the person, but it was Rugby Boy, but BOI, all one word.
So that was on TikTok, was it?
Yeah, it was on TikTok. I got
so Rugby Boy on TikTok put up a video where it highlighted the rules on how far you can go back to rule off a try and what phases were. And I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 phases that went by before Ben White went across the line and scored. Now, if there is an incident that happened that wasn't picked up at the time, you can only go back to the last 2 phases of play to get this checked. And this was 3 or 4 phases away. So not only have South Africa had 2 tries by this point that shouldn't have counted, and the try that they did score, they probably shouldn't have been awarded the penalty that led to it. Our counter try to make it a contest was ruled out
because they went to. But this is the thing, right? And this is why the rules are rules. Like, you can't go back more than 2 phases to look at stuff for the potential knock off a try. Because if you start going past 2 phases, where's the line? How far back can you go? Like, oh, he was punched 20 minutes ago. That try can't happen. No, like, stuff's happened since then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's this, and they've changed the advantage rule as well. Because look, I didn't write it down. I don't know what minute it is, but it was near the end where South Africa made about 40 meters on
and brought it back. Yeah.
They did a grubber kick. Was it a grubber kick they put through? And it went into touch, and then the ref blew his whistle and ran back, and he ran back about 40 meters, and it's like, at what stage do you stop?
It's like, it's a very different thing, but this is how I see it. So, like, if you are on your try line, just defending your heart out, and the referee goes advantage, just give them the points. You might as well, because there's nothing you can do with it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think I'll get to that later. I do agree that law needs to be changed, because there are some teams that will just smother you and keep playing for the advantage, and they'll only try to play when they have the advantage, and they'll keep restarting. But on this one, the rule used to be after you made 10 meters, the advantage was over.
Yeah.
Some people weren't happy with that, but look, if you got to 15 or 20, there has to be a definitive moment of, okay, you've made X amount of advantages over. I mean, look, there's room for a margin of error. If someone called advantage over a meter early or a meter late. Like, I don't think too many people are going to cry about it. You will get a few, but as a rule of thumb, 10 meters should be it, no 40. Because again, you come back to how many phases you're going to go back. If you're an advantage and you go 80 meters down the pitch, but then you get stopped, do you go all the way back to your own try line?
Even if you're the team that has the advantage and you have to bring it all the way back, you'll probably be going like, "Oh, for God's sake! Why are we going all the way back?"
The thing is, South Africa from that got the kickoff. I don't think Pollard kicked it as far as the players ran it. So the advantage was so long that they actually ended up losing ground.
There you go.
Where they maintained possession, but they ended up losing ground when they got the penalty.
It's so stupid. But
yeah, look, we will get into other bits of the game. I don't want the whole podcast to sound like a moan. This is more of a vent from the two of us. So look,
I'm not one for venting often.
No.
I kind of right. So, just to clarify, I hate losing. It ruins my day, whether it's Scotland, Edinburgh, or Exeter Chiefs. I know that's not linked to Scottish pod, but yeah, whenever my teams that I like live and die by lose, it does ruin my day. And I've said it to Dan a couple of times. Murray and Buster Rugby, two very different people, and it's very rare that they cross.
Mm-hmm.
And like today's video did cross a little bit. So
right, shall we dive into the second half then? Now, my notes only go as far as the 66th minute. I'll have because that's when the notes are flying across the room.
Actually, there's one thing I want to talk about, not just in first half or second half, just because I noticed it a lot. More again, hindsight is a powerful thing. I understood why during the game we were kicking for the six. You're keeping that scoreboard ticking, you're regaining the possession. I understand it. Any big game, I would encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
But hindsight is a powerful, powerful gift because the Springbok line-out was terrible. For a Springbok team, it was not great. Why didn't we just kick it in the corner a few times? Do you know what I mean? Like we could all, even just once or twice.
I thought
change
that
things up a little bit.
I turned around to Jen at one point and I said, I wonder if they're going to play Glasgow ball or Edinburgh ball.
Yeah, Edinburgh.
And for those of you that don't watch the URC, Glasgow are your current champions. They very rarely kick for points. Away.
There you go.
Almost every single time that they get a penalty, they will, I say 80-90% of the time, they'll go for the corner. Because they've got such a powerful drive of maul. Now, most of that Scotland team were Glasgow Warriors. I get not all of them, but still,
yeah.
And Edinburgh kick for points. They always tend to have the league's top point scorer, but they don't win nearly as many games. They don't even make the playoffs.
Come on, man! You don't have to beat me up on this one.
Yeah. Look at us both wearing Glasgow colours. We didn't even coordinate that. We just both showed up.
Didn't. I genuinely just grabbed the first top. There you go. It was the Glasgow Warriors Champions top. There you go.
I just jumped at the shower and grabbed the first T-shirt I saw. So
yeah, same. I didn't realise this was this close to me, but there we go.
All right, okay. I want to get this out of the way just because I don't want to bitch and moan. And once I finish with my moan and my rant, we can put it behind us and just start chatting in depth about things that should and shouldn't have happened, right?
Okay.
So, 42nd minute, South Africa collapse the scrum. We get a penalty. It goes to 1912. Now, it's back in the game. Bomb squad comes on. Completely, for the first of it, did
actually, just on the bomb squad, and it's nothing really about them. I've seen it on TV. I understand how important it is, but to see the toy, Khaleesi, and Vincent Collick, everyone you all seen them stand up together, and I'm like,
oh my god,
and we had some passionate Springbok fans behind us, and they're like, oh my god, I'm like, they've never even seen this before. This is
there was
But
five
this is what I said this to you on our way to Edinburgh, that it would have been a great psychological move. I'm not saying it would have worked, but the minute Snyman, Khaleesi, Koch, Detroit, Bomb Squad stood up because they were coming on, turns out, I know Max Armstrong was already on because of the Scott Cummins thing, but still could have easily just went, right, boys, on you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it would have worked.
I mean, for the theatre and the drama of it, it would have been great if you just saw both of them lined up and then you had like 10 or 12 people all coming onto the pitch at once.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. One of the benefits of having Kinghorn on the wing again, it's 56 minutes, Springbok get a penalty, right? Actually, I'm skipping ahead. Right, after the Bomb Squad came on, there was about a 15-20 minute period where we had the Springboks on the ropes. Now, they're not the world champions for no reason. They defended incredibly well. We made a couple of stupid mistakes. Now, that was the point, probably more than anything else, where we lost the game. It was just wave after wave of Scotland attack at this point, and we couldn't get over. There's one where Matt Ferguson fumbles it. There's one
so
where
unlike Matt Ferguson, but you've seen it in his face how annoyed he was at dropping the ball.
Yeah, it wasn't a great pass to him either.
No, it wasn't. But there was a few. There was a few, and I don't know if you were going to mention it or not, but Hugh Jones's passes to Duhan.
That was actually I've got that down.
Sorry, I read the line there, but
that
if you've never seen rugby, Duhan van der Merwe is about 6'4", and is like a freakish athlete. Like he's got a decent vertical jump as well. So it's not like he's any slouch.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped. Bear in mind, so he's about 6'8" at this point. He puts his hand up, which would take him to about 6'10", like Richie Gray height almost.
No, he would have been much taller than that. It was way up because
was he up? Right, okay.
Foot or so off the ground.
Probably so like well over 7 foot with his hand in the air, and the ball doesn't even touch his fingertips. That's how bad his pass was.
Yeah,
and it happened twice.
Yeah,
very graceful there, Dan.
Yeah, I know, very graceful. But yeah, well against the ropes. The Boks get a penalty to relieve pressure. They kick it downfield. Now Kinghorn, the advantage of having him on the wing instead of at fullback, as he was able to jump from outside of touch, catch the ball in midair, and throw it back in. Now, if he was playing fullback, he wouldn't have caught that. So one of the things that was good for having Kinghorn on the wing, it starts a counter-attack. That's the counter-attack where Hugh Jones puts it wide. I'm not saying he would have scored, but he would have been one-on-one.
Some ground off that,
He would have been one-on-one with. Now, after that, we come back and I think we take the line out. We come back, we attack again. Villaroo has a clear and deliberate knock-on. A minute later, it's not checked. Now, I think the reason it wasn't checked is he goes forward, no attempt to catch the ball, but he goes out with one hand like that, right? Hits the ball, but the only two players who managed to catch it and kept running down the pitch. Now, the commentary team picked it up at the time, but it was one of these things that was never looked at. I didn't catch that live, if I have to be honest. I completely missed that live. But watching it back on Discovery Plus, I was like, it's just absolutely everything that could have went against us did. Yeah. 2 minutes later, South Africa got a yellow. If I'm going to be honest, I don't
know what we did wrong. Yeah.
And I rewinded it on Discovery Plus about 4 times to try and catch it, because the commentary team didn't mention what it was for either.
That's when you know it's wrong.
I think the referee at the time said cynical play.
Yeah, it came up on the screen, cynical play, but I'm like, show us that. Like, what's so cynical about it? Who knows? If you know what he did wrong, let us know, please. I'm intrigued.
So, but the thing is, with this, right, we get the penalty. South Africa, we get the penalty, and Matt Ferguson takes it quickly and goes over the line. But I don't know why we weren't allowed to take it quickly there.
This annoys me. I have said this so many times, not just to you, just to like anyone I talk to rugby about.
Mm-hmm.
The big bosses keep saying that they want to speed the game up.
Yeah.
Yes. So why, when any team, doesn't matter if it's club or international, wants to go quick and they do the tap and go, the ref goes, bring it back. Stop it.
The thing is, some teams get away with, well, not get away with it. Sometimes it's given and sometimes it's not. Like some teams play a slow game, some teams play a fast
Yeah,
game.
but more times than not. Like how many times, like, just for Edinburgh, for example, because as a Scottish pod, how many times have you seen Ben Velcott go, right, cool, let's go, and the ref goes, no, bring it back.
Yeah.
Stop doing that, please.
Yeah. I think that's one of the law changes that they probably need to make. But anyway, he takes it quickly. He goes over the line, but the referee brings it back. I don't see any reason for bringing it back, but there we go. And then a couple of minutes later, he awards South Africa a penalty. I can't forget for what. It goes 22-15. My notepad goes flying across the living room.
Fair, valid. Yeah.
That's what I've got. And once you got to sort of the 75th minute mark, I don't know what it was like in the stadium by you, but the whole crowd was shouting, "I go, what are you going to blow your whistle for this time?" We all knew it was coming, sort of thing.
Oh no, I was too busy arguing. I'm ashamed of it. I'm not going to name people, but I was arguing with the drunken idiots that should. Honestly, let's be honest. Just stick to the football. If you're going to act like that at a rugby game, go away.
Stick to the football, yeah.
Stick to the football, yeah. But absolutely. The biggest issue coming out of this game, because like Townsend said it himself, it's probably the best rugby we've played in 2 or 3 years. Which okay, because we fronted up physically, we weren't scared, we were ready to go. The big issue for me, and it's not like a massive concern overall, because we have got the depth and we have got talent. Jack Dempsey getting injured.
Yeah.
Like that sucks. And he's such a good player. I've always said he's getting better and better each game. And the fact that his arm was like in a sling straight away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not great. But
it looked like earlier on in the game, I thought he broke a finger as well. Because like I think in like 6 or 7 minutes, it looked like he'd broken a finger, and the physio came on and taped them together and put them in something.
And then the shoulder's gone as well, or collarbone potentially.
We don't know the extent of it yet. I'm sure it'll come out.
There has been a squad update though, because we are going to Portugal. We're taking on Portugal this weekend, and we've got a little squad update because we didn't get one last week. There was no squad update last week.
So I was going to get to this. Let's finish off on the game, and then we'll go to the squad update, right?
Okay.
So I think this, going on what Townsend said post-match, I agree with him a lot. I look at the opportunities that we were denied that we should have got, and the opportunities that they got that they really shouldn't have done, yet we kept this a really tight affair up until the last 5 minutes, right? Or the last 10 minutes. So that gives me a lot of confidence going into the Six Nations.
100%.
The rest of the tour. I mean, the thing that we're missing is that marquee win where we need a top 4 scout. I know we take France's every now and again, but I feel like we need like an All Blacks or South Africa. I think at this point it's been so long. We'll take an Ireland as well. Yeah. We need. That's one of the last things that this squad's missing. I mean, you got Kinghorn winning European Cups, playing for the best club in the world. We're in top 14s. You got the likes of Bayliss and Russell and Redpath going to Premiership finals, Glasgow and the URC. So there is a winning mentality in the Scotland squad, and we had huge injuries going into this game as well. So it does give me good confidence going on for Scotland. I do think that we did perform well, just not our day.
True. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. What do you think we should do with Jordan going forward? Because you can't drop Russell for him, right?
So this is actually kind of leading into my plan for Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got my squad written down for Portugal. It comes out tomorrow. I don't waste time. Also, international rugby, there's like massive turnaround, and teams like to name their bloody squads early now. So as a content creator, you have to be on the ball, and it sucks.
But it's not going to come out tomorrow, is it? Is it coming out tomorrow?
No, I'm saying I like to do mine like 2 days before the official squad.
Oh, okay, right.
So we play on Saturday this week, which means Townsend will name his squad on Thursday. So I need to put mine up tomorrow. You see the issues I'm having. You see what I have to go through every week. And then if you do it as like non-biased, if you do it as non-biased, and I do like England, Wales, Springbok, like Borthwick and Gatland are known for naming their teams on a Tuesday, so I have to do it like now.
Yeah, way ahead.
Constant stress of a content creator, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, no, I've got my squad penciled in. I don't think we're going to go full whack because really, and again, no disrespect to Portugal, it's going to be a fun game. We don't need to. There is absolutely no reason for us to go full tilt, and that the only way I can see us going full whack is because it would be Townsend being really, really annoyed from us getting beat by Springboks.
Oh yeah.
Like if you've seen it on Thursday afternoon, it's usually afternoon, and it was like Schumann, Ferguson, Darge, not Dempsey because Dempsey's hurt, but you know what I mean. Finn Russell starting against Port. Yeah, no, you don't need it. There's no need for it. So I'm kind of bypassing a little bit here, Dan, but I've got my team ready, and I think you might like it.
Right. Will we do that at the end, or?
Oh, I was excited. I was going to do mine now and then do a little preview and prediction.
All right, okay, so on, because I was just writing down what I would put there.
Okay,
right, so front three. Who we going?
Right, I'm just going to rattle off right through the 15 because I'm so excited about this.
All right, okay.
For this kind of game, anyway. I've got Jamie Batty, Johnny Matthews, Miller Mills starting as a front row.
Okay.
I have Alex Craig.
Yeah.
With Alex Samuel, so Alex squared in the second row.
Alex squared.
Alex squared in the second row. I've got Jamie Ritchie captain in the side, and I'll explain in a little bit. Like to start off as captain anyway. Somebody has to make the decisions from the word go. Freddie Douglas will get his Scotland debut on the open side, and bad Ben Muncaster will make his debut at number 8. I've got George Horn starting scrum half because where's George Horn been?
Yeah.
We need a bit of George Horn. I have Tom Jordan at 10. I have Stafford McDowell at the 12.
Right.
We've got another debut coming in on the 13 called Musesi 2 Piloto.
Yeah.
I have Kyle Rowe returning on the wing. I have Aaron Reid making his first appearance this autumn on the wing.
Yeah.
I have Rory Hutchinson at fullback. We have not used Rory Hutchinson yet. And he has played fullback. The last time he played for Scotland was when we toured Argentina and he was fullback.
Well, that I wasn't expecting that one.
There you go.
Right.
So on the bench.
Yeah.
Paddy Harrison.
Okay.
Roy Sutherland.
Yeah.
And Will Hurd. You'll have Ewan Johnson coming off for the second row. And you would have crap, who was it? Probably Matt Ferguson or something come off the bench.
Okay.
Jamie Dobie, scrum half. Because it's always handy having him there.
Yeah.
Adam Hastings in the 22 jersey. And you'd have Nons 23, Sione 2 Porter.
Right. See, I've got similar to you. I've started Sutherland.
Okay.
Sutherland, Matthews, and Miller Mills.
Now, no, sorry, I don't have Sutherland. Sorry, I have Alec Hepburn on my bench just because he was in the squad and he's got experience. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. So you don't play Suz at all?
Nope.
No. So I'd Suz, Matthews, Miller Mills. I had Craig and Williamson as my locks. Now,
Williamson's
I would
hurt, though.
change.
Williamson's out the squad.
Oh, shit. Okay. So I forgot about that. So I've got Alex Craig in, and probably Gregor Brown.
It was also out the squad.
Oh, for God's sake!
Right. So the three out of the squad is Jack Dempsey, Max Williamson, and Gregor Brown. That's the three. You can pick anyone else.
Right. Well, I'm going to have to go Alex squared.
Alex squared. Screwing already.
Right, so in the second row, sort of back rows, I'll go slightly different with you. I'd go Freddie Douglas, Ben Muncaster.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see a little bit more of Bayliss at 8. I'd start Bayliss this time round.
Oh, I'm talking in my arse. I didn't pick Figure. It was Bayliss on the bench. I'm absolutely waffling now. I apologise. I'm not lying. I'll send you it later. It was Bayliss on the bench. I apologise for that.
Okay. I'd start Bayliss anyway.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I thought he was one of our better subs that came on.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd start George Horn. I'd probably at standoff go Hastings. I thought he was fantastic against Fiji. And I think he's a more creative player than Jordan. He's not as physical, but he's more creative. So, yeah, I'd start Hastings. I think I'd do a 12-13 partnership of Stafford McDowell and Mosesi Tuipulotu as well.
Yeah.
My wingers, I'd go Horn and Reed. Now, I was going to go with Tom Jordan again at fullback, just because I don't know who else you put there at the moment. Oh no, actually, Ty Patterson is he? Was that? Ty
Patterson in the squad? Yeah.
You know what? I'd start Patterson actually
because
he needs to get to the end of there. I'd start Patterson at fullback.
I've got really ballsy then with Hutchison. I've actually forgot about Patterson.
On the bench, I would have Jimmy Batty. I want to say Dylan Richardson, but I think Paddy Harrison deserves the game, so I put in Paddy Harrison. Probably Will Hurd as my tight head. You'd have to I'd put Gilchrist on the bench. Matt Fagerson, because he can cover the whole back row.
Yep, fair. So can Bayliss though.
I go 5-3.
I'm 5-3.
Yeah, I would put in Dobie, Tom Jordan.
Yep.
And Jordan.
Jordan.
No. Who did I say? Oh, no, George. I'm talking my ass today as well, mate. Dobie, Tom Jordan, and probably Hutchinson.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's still a very good team. We got there eventually.
Out of our rewinds this evening.
Predictions for the game? Without being too disrespectful?
The thing is, right, it depends what way we go out. If we go out with a full strength team, if Townsend, you've got two mentalities, right? So you're going to give people the first cap. If he does that, it'll be like a 42-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
If he goes 80% plus team strength, like if he goes in, maybe resting Finn Russell and Duhan van der Merwe, but full noise everywhere else. And I don't want to be disrespectful to Portugal. It could be like a 92-3 or something. It's one of those. It depends what squad he goes out with.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's a game that you just kind of tweak things a bit. And again, I'm not trying to sound disrespectful to Portugal. There were a lot of fun in last year's World Cup. You don't really need to go. You don't need to go full noise. There's absolutely no reason.
No,
it's not a World Cup. You're not chasing points.
Is the game sold out yet? I know a couple of weeks ago they said there was 50,000 So,
We're 55,000 from the last time I've seen it, so it probably will sell out. You can shift to 10,000 seats in a week.
well, you think it will or it won't?
I think it will.
Think it will.
Like Friday evening. So,
Well,
yeah.
Portugal's the only game I've not bought tickets to. I went to Fiji. I was at South Africa, and I'll be at Australia as well.
Yeah.
Portugal's the only one I've got. I might go. It just depends. I've got other things going on that day. It's a little bit easier for my schedule to be at home that day. But comes up, I might be impulsive and change my mind and head down to Murrayfield.
I mean, I'll be there, loud and proud, as per usual. But the next game, I don't take any. I'm always there. I make the joke now that any professional game in Edinburgh, just imagine that I'm there, because
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I am working the Australia game, but I get to go to the game because thank you, Automation Series.
If they say, Automation Series, let me in on this action, yeah?
Huh?
I said, Automation Series, give us a call, let me in on the action.
It's fun. Listen, mate, you go early to the game. You do well. I'm trying to think because I'm trying to do what they wanted me to do at the Six Nations. I don't know if it's the same because I've seen some clips going around for the Automation Series, and it's people running around with microphones going, if you could pick anyone in the fantasy team, who would you pick and why? And let's see your fantasy team, which is different to what I've done. If it's what I did in Six Nations, you're literally spending 5 minutes outside the front of Murrayfield going, right, here we are today at Scottish Gas Murrayfield for the big one, Scotland versus Australia. I think Scotland's going to win by blah, 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 blah. And my ones to watch are X, Y, and Z. Come on, Scotland. And that was it. I got paid for that. It's like, to the point, I'll give him a little bit of credit. My mate Ross went to the game with me. I was like, right, I need to go and work because I don't know how long it was going to be. So he's like, right, cool, I'm going to nip to the bar, go to the gift shop, whatever. I phoned him 5 minutes later, like, where are you? He's like, thought you were working. I was like, I'm done. I've done my stuff. Get to go and enjoy the game now. It's honestly a cakewalk. It's so easy.
Right. I know
and it's so much fun as well. If I could get a media pass, that would be nice. Get to meet the Wallabies. I want to meet Joseph Swat-Aliti. But we're going off topic. I think Scotland will go fairly fresh for Portugal. Townsend did say he wants to use everyone in the camp. You're going to have to be a man of your word on that one.
See, there's a mixture now. I hope he does the opposite of what he did for Fiji. I made a big song and dance about it. We were on two opposite ends of this camp here. With Fiji, those who've been listening since the beginning, one of our earlier episodes, we went in for our preview for Fiji, and we had two completely different squads. I essentially had what you would loosely describe as a fringe squad. So the players that you'd usually see on the bench, or the players that would have danced in and out starting the Fiji game with a fully stacked bench. And I thought it would be a mixture between trying to keep our best players fit to avoid injury, but get some game time in the legs, and you just went full noise. I wanted to avoid it to stop someone like I mentioned, Xander Fagerson was a crucial one not to get injured for South Africa, but it ended up being Darcy Graham that went down. And Kyle
At least it wasn't Adam, though. We did.
Oh yeah, we got doctor and a whole lot. Right. So, within saying that, I've got a lot of questions here written down, right? And because I've got probably about 10 or 12 of them, let's quick fire them.
Okay, let's go. I'm ready.
First of them, one person I'm really excited to see is Alex Craig. I've been hearing a lot of noise coming from the Scarlets about him.
I like that.
I'm hoping he gets a lot of noise. With Richie Gray going, do you think that he's a player that we could see featuring for Scotland fairly frequently, or because there's rumours about him going to Glasgow?
Yeah, I could see him being, maybe not like starting, but I can see him being on the bench for most games. Come,
Well, yeah, okay.
come
I
like
haven't-
maybe not Six Nations, but maybe like summer going into next autumn.
Right. So I don't know. I've not seen enough of him, if I have to be honest.
Fair enough.
I like to be proved wrong. So next one, this Ashman Richard thing that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Apart from Ashman putting Itzbeth on his ass, I thought our lineouts looked stronger, at least our darts looked stronger when Richardson came on. And I think he's a better runner as well. Where do you rate the two of them? If it was up to you, would you start Richardson above Ashman or Ashman above Richardson?
I'd start Richardson more now because I really want to see what he does from the word go.
Mm-hmm. I'm the same. I really rate Ashman, and I can see why they're trying to build for the future. But I think Richardson's a better player. Now, if you have the choice between Johnny Matthews, Richardson, and Ashman, which two gets dropped? Start one, bench one, drop one.
Out of the three?
Yeah, Ashley, Richardson, Matthews. Start one, bench one, drop one.
Start Richardson.
You start Richardson.
Bench Matthews and drop Ashley. Sorry.
Oh, I would start Matthews, bench Richardson, and drop Ashman.
we do love you, Ewan. You are a good player, and you're a cracker both.
Oh yeah. Did you watch for his run, by the way, that I told you about? This run that, like, I could tell sort of from ages away. Ewan Ashman's got the most unique run in the world.
I've still not like proper looked into it, but I will.
In such a weird way.
Right, let's keep it going. Let's get these quick questions going. I'm excited now.
Finn Russell, with Tom Jordan and Hastings, did any of them get close to him?
No. No.
Right.
I like both of them, but no. If Finn's in the squad, and it's a big game, Finn starts.
Do we agree that Blair Kinghorn has to be cemented at 15 like this? Stop him going on the wing.
I think he has worked so hard to make that 15 jersey his own, and now he's got it. Stop changing it. Just let him play at 15.
Now, if we had cover at 15 like next year when we've got Josh Mackay, or if Ollie Smith wasn't injured, I'd be less hesitant.
Well, Ollie Smith was pictured with the Scotland team today, but I don't know if it's...
He's been doing the media stuff for a while, like all the Scotland kit launches and everything. He's still been around. I just think he can't play. I've not heard anything on it. I'll have to look it up after we get off here, actually. Jack Dempsey, natural replacement. Where do we go?
See, I was playing very close to the box. I was playing like who's in camp now? And it's Ben Muncaster.
I'm talking going into Six Nations. Like who's?
Oh, if Jack's out indefinitely.
Yeah, like if our back row is Darge, Fagerson, Dempsey, or sorry, Fagerson, Darge, Dempsey. I should do who's.
Well, you could always move. You could always bring Matt back to number 8. He has been number 8 for us for a while. Andy Christie might be back in time. Josh Bayliss is very versatile.
Can Christie play 8? I know you can do 6 and 7, but can Christie play 8?
Yeah, he's done it. Yeah, he's done it a few times. Not for us, but yeah, he's done it a few times. Bayliss can play 8, 6, 7, easy. Magnus Bradbury, if he's on form, bring him in. He's a big lad.
See, for me, I think Maggie is the natural replacement. I think he's a bit like Matthews. I think he's really underrated by Townsend. I really rate Magnus Bradbury, and for me, he would be my backup number 8.
That's fair.
Christie, I like the shout for Christie, but I keep him, at 6 or 7. I wouldn't put him at 8.
That's what I'm saying. I would move Matt to 8.
I don't mind Bayliss doing 8 on Muncaster after he gets back. one thing that I think really cost us in South Africa, and it's one of the reasons why the Springboks are the Springboks and Ireland do so good. There's one thing I think Scotland are quite naive at, and I'd say it's the dark arts. You know, getting on the good side of referees. Oh, we skipped over that Tui Pelotu thing as well.
Please mention it. Go for it.
All right, okay. So we said it at one point where Etzebeth went over and he got to the referee and he got the referee to go and check the decision for the croc roll. It wasn't croc roll, ended up resulting in a man going off. Now, I can't remember if it was a second or third try for South Africa. It was a knock on, and in the build up, there was also a direct headshot on Jack Dempsey. Now, Tui Pelotu tried to go over to the referee to speak to him, and the referee just shunted him back, you know, before he got within 10 feet of him. He told him to turn around and go away. I'm not sure if he was afraid of the backlash from Rassie or from the South African fans, but why he would listen to the complaints of one captain and not the other is beyond me. Like, he wouldn't even hear him out for what to say. He just saw him approach and told him to turn around, not having it. So
have you seen the size of it even?
I know Nons is hardly small himself. Like,
height wise, I meant no. Like, if you see even Elizabeth approaching you, yes, sir. How may I help you today? What?
Yeah, well, unless you're Ashman.
Yeah, just put him on his arse. Yeah, that works.
Right, okay. So let me move on real quick fire questions because we've hit the hour mark now. Right. For you, does Maggie have a place in the squad in our next Six Nations campaign? And if so, whose place does he take?
I see him in the wider squad.
Okay.
Only if Christie and or Dempsey are still out injured.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You look at who we've brought now. So we've got Bayliss, Gregor Brown, Crosby, Darge, Jack Dempsey, Freddie Douglas, Matt Fagerson, Ben Muncaster, and Jamie Ritchie as our wider squad. Let's just say that Andy Christie's fit. So Andy Christie, I'll play devil advocate. Andy Christie's gone in for Luke Crosby. Does Maggie make the squad?
I would take Magnus over Gregor Brown if you're making me do that. Then that sounds hard. I know it's harsh, but if you're making me choose, then
yeah. Well, Gregor Brown can also play lock.
Spoken Magnus though. Spoken Magnus. Magnus has done that a few times.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Like the tail end of his last spell at Edinburgh, he was playing second row.
Moving on to our next bit then. Hastings or Jordan?
For the bench.
Yeah. You've got one spot available. And I don't say per game, and I'll just say one player's fit and one player's not for the entirety of the Six Nations. Who do you take, Jordan or Hastings?
I'll keep Hastings.
Yeah, I'd have to say I'd keep Hastings. Well, I love Tom Jordan.
I'm sorry, TJ, I love you, but
yeah. I think there's not a lot in it, right? I think TJ's a little bit more physical than Hastings, but Hastings is a little bit more creative
more strong
than Gordon.
Yeah, if you've got Finn, you're not. If Finn came off and Adam being creative, it's not changing the style much. Whereas if Finn comes off and Tom comes on, it's more hit up. And again, it might work, but
yeah. Hastings has something over both Jordan and Finn Russell, though. Is his accuracy off the tee is one of the best around. That's one thing I will give to Hastings. Like, his kicking accuracy is always in the 90s. It's just
who's his dad?
Yeah,
the man, the boy could nudge a rugby ball before he could run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could kick a rugby ball before he could do anything.
There you go.
Just doesn't do it in World Cup semi-finals. Anyway, George Hort, what's he done to upset Townsend?
I don't know. I also don't know. Because I was going into this going, right, George Hort, Ben White are your battling out for
Yeah,
9.
I'm
The other one
all
will take the
for
21. Yeah. And then, again, nothing against them because Jamie Dobie's had a sensational season for Glasgow.
Mhm.
But I was like, right, you'll play Fiji because I said it even when we started this. Like, I have Jamie Dobie starting Fiji. You start Portugal. Yeah, he was playing against the Springboks. George Horn was nowhere to be found. So I don't know. I don't know if there's been a falling out or they just really like having Jamie Dobie in it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what he's done and how he doesn't start. And, our Ali Price starting ahead of him as well. I mean, he must feel pretty annoyed at that. I'm not sure if there's something. I feel like him and Johnny Matthews are in the same boat. I don't know what they've done, but they're both exceptional players. Okay, this is the last one, and then I'm out of questions.
Okay.
Where do we find a place? Actually, I might throw Jordan into this as well. In a fully fit squad with no injuries, where do you find a place for McDowell and Hutchinson?
Not Hutchinson.
Not Hutchinson.
Uh-uh.
No. McDowell?
McDowell is, with the versatility you've got starting, for the most part, it's not an issue having a centre in the 23 jersey. But if you said fully fit, no injuries.
Yeah, no injuries. So Kyle Staines back,
Okay, right. So
Ollie Smith.
I'm sticking to my guns then. I'm saying that Kyle Stain would be in the 23 jersey. So by that, there is no place for McDowell or Hutchinson in a fully strength Scottish 23 because of my logic of covering multiple positions and slotting in nicely. Kyle Stain gets a 23 jersey.
See, for me, he's too good not to start. I'd start.
We say this every week.
I know this. Start with the 14 jersey.
I have no issue. I have no issue with Kyle Stain starting. Like, if a squad comes out and goes in the 14 jersey, Kyle Stain, cool, very reliable. I just go off he can play fullback, he can play wing, he can play centre. Go on the bench because then whatever happens, essentially, it won't affect the game. You can just slot in nicely, almost unnoticed. I don't mean that in a negative way. You can just slot in nicely and just continue as it was.
Right. So, actually, I'm going to have one more. I'm going to put in the list after this. Right. So,
come on, man.
Tom, well, you've said that you take Hastings as Finn Russell's backup, right?
Yep.
Same question, but what do you do with Tom Jordan?
I don't know. You just have to kind of fight for a bench spot against weaker teams or lesser games, and I feel like that's a waste of them. But like, competition's tough.
Yeah. No,
it's the same with it's very different, but it's along the same argument. Like I love Freddie Douglas. He is only 19, and then look who's ahead of him. Like it's not going to be easy to just walk in and be like, "Cool, I've got this, boys."
Very last one of the evening.
You promise?
No, not at all. Hugh Jones. Now he showed his great attack. Now I've gone on about how I wish he would pass a little bit more.
Not now.
When he does pass, it tends to be a little bit inaccurate. There was a couple of times, I thought against South Africa where he could have and should have passed when there was a couple of times Duhan was on his outside and he just didn't pass to him, and Duhan would have been in the clear. Now, when he did pass, he threw it miles over his head. But again, he runs some of the most dangerous lines in all of Europe, if not in all of the world. Now, with Hugh Jones, his positives outweigh the negatives? I know there's a certain person that comments on a lot of our stuff that's going to be listening keenly to this last bit.
I think his positives outweigh his negatives. Like him and Sione are like it's so well synced.
Yeah,
and they work off each other so well, and it's hard to actually find a centre pairing that tight.
Yeah.
Like, just for example, Ireland's main centre pairing don't play at club together. Wales keep chopping and changing. England don't have their centre pairing playing together week in week out for clubs. France, I don't believe they do either because it's Fiku and Dante. So if that's the case, they don't play together. The only one you could argue is Italy with Brex and Minicello. And if you, and of that, Huey Posh is miles ahead.
So to end on that note, then, so if McDowell starts playing alongside Tui Porto at Glasgow, you drop Hugh Jones.
Over a certain amount of time, yeah, probably.
Yeah, look, I love Hugh Jones. He's one of the most dangerous runners. I went before the autumn and I said I would probably go with McDowell.
Mm-hmm.
But then Hugh Jones had that fantastic game against Fiji. And look, I'm happy to be proved wrong when I'm wrong. But then he made he did a lot of good things, but made a lot of mistakes against South Africa. And I'm swinging back to McDowell again.
You know what's mental that his best. You know
making mistakes.
You know what's insane that his best pass against the Springboks was through the legs.
Yeah, I saw that.
But do you know how mental that is? That like straight hands didn't go well, but duck through the legs was like perfect.
Uh-huh.
Make it make sense, Shuggy.
You know, look, it is what it is. Look, folks, I think we've eaten up enough of your time today. Thanks so much for listening. Look,
good old one tonight, yeah.
Or YouTube, feel free to subscribe, hit the little bell thing on both YouTube and Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out. It really helps get us out there. We have it synced up, so if you're seeing us on Spotify, you'll see a little box underneath that says send us a text or leave us a comment. It'll come through to us. We read all the ones that come through, and if you've got any suggestions or anything you want to mention for next week's program, let us know, and we'll go into it. I'd love to have a little segment going at some stage once we gather enough of a following about, comments that come in from you guys or views that you've got, because we'd love to discuss them.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Obviously, within reason. I've already said I'm not talking about certain people doing bad things away from the pitch or refuse.
Yeah. Look, I feel like I would like to end one thing with saying, look, I know we moaned about the referee tonight, but I don't think that referee should go under any personal abuse under any circumstances.
Don't. This is where I've said this a few times, not to you, Dan, but just in general. I don't get where. And by the way, here comes your explicit warning. So here you go, because I don't know where I could say it. I don't understand how you can go from. I don't understand how you can go from. Shit, we got beat. I'm so angry that we got beat to. Fuck you, I hope you die. I don't get it. I've never understood this.
Yeah.
It is baffling to me. I have walked home from games angry. I've cried after games. I've never once messaged a referee or a player saying that you're fucking shit, you're an embarrassment, your family. I don't get how you can get that angry.
Yeah. Look, it's as much as it is frustrating as a fan, right? It's an incredibly tough job to do. I wouldn't like to do it. You've got, the pressure of the fans. You've got the mental decisions you have to think of, straight away. And you have to remember that they're running up and down the pitch, so they're physically exhausted as well while doing it. So, and it's not like they get paid a huge amount like the players on the park do.
True.
So, respect the officials. You can disagree with them, but I don't abuse of officials or players of any kind.
Yeah. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick online. Just full stop. Actually, just in general, do not be a dick online.
That counts when you come and speak to us two as well.
I had that actually. I forgot to say this. I had this after the game. I was speaking to a boy, and he was like, "I love your content." Blah blah. blah. I've spoken to him a few times. He's a nice enough guy, and this guy came up to me. I hope he had a drink on him, because that was a sober thought. That was ballsy to say to someone. He came up to it. I can't wait to hear what absolute shite you're going to come out with next. I was like, "Oh my god." That's like, hello to you too, stranger that I've never met. I was like, what?
I've taken the day off of social media today, just because I think it's good for your mental health. I tried to take one day off of social media, every now and again. It's not every week, definitely not, but I thought how irate I was, anything that I would have put online would have been stupid anyway. So I decided to take today off. I chilled with my partner, I played some video games, and then I came on here. Well, I started my day off by rolling to bed and watching the game back.
Yeah, that was a silly thing. That was a silly thing to do. I've rarely done that. Apart from like when it's like a full game available to watch,
Mhm.
and there's nothing else on. I rarely go back to watch a full game.
Yeah.
But that's because like life of the content creator, there's no days off.
I like watching the full game back, especially when we've won, because I like to see the different angles. I always like to see what the commentary says about it, because you just hear the roar of the stadium. I like hearing what they're saying as the tries are being scored and that. But a lot of the time, I don't watch the full game. I might watch extended highlights instead, or Discovery Plus.
Extended highlights
We
are good.
skipped all the good bits. So that's good. Look, we've kept you long enough. This is one of our longer pods, an hour and 15 minutes. Murray and I will be back next week. You're probably hearing us a day late because it is Monday evening by the time we're recording this. We did it a day later just for the match being on Sunday. We will try to do the recording at our usual time next week.
Wait a minute. No. Tell the truth. I wanted to do it yesterday evening, half cut, and you said probably not.
Yeah, no, I said that afterwards. It wouldn't have been the best idea. And also, by the time I got home at 8 and everything, we would have been recording at like 1 in the morning, mate. It was
fine.
But look, maybe one time we do half cut. I was going to say I'm not going to be at the stadium next week, but you are. If you weren't, I was going to say we could have done it straight after. Just came round.
Actually, I'm gonna steal an idea that, just to sign off, I'm gonna steal an idea that we did at the stadium. Instead of doing a clip of our predictions for the game, I'm just gonna, if we're both there or if one of us there, just film it on the TikTok page. There you go.
Yeah. Although, actually, just thinking out loud, maybe because well, people don't know this, but away days for the Edinburgh games, Murray comes over to mine. I watch on the TV, usually get some beers, get some food and that, and watch the do it that way. For the Edinburgh away games, if we're half cut, we could do live pods almost.
Ooh, could be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
TikTok, you just hit live.
We'll give it a go. We'll see how it goes. See if anyone's interested as well.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, look, thanks so much for listening. I'm going to end the recording here, and we'll be back same time again next week. Again, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.